This is FXAlexG. FXAlexG is a $1 million funded Forex trader, founder of the set and forget trading strategy that has made him and his students millions in trading profits. And in this podcast, we're going to find out how he did it.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode. Today we have FXAlexG, FXAlex.
Appreciate you, bro, for having me on.
As you guys saw in the intro, Alex is a swing trader. He's a great swing trader. You guys should follow his Instagram, FXAlex. So, Alex, I wanted to come on here and ask you a few questions today. Number one, my knee is shaking like crazy.
Why? So let him introduce himself.
Because we're going to have like a crazy edit in the beginning where it's like just like a voiceover, like just like clips of your shit. All right, Alex, so we wanted to have you on the podcast a long time ago and really just go over your story as a trader, coming up from, working at Dunkin' Donuts and, really resonating with people, because I believe it's really important to see that some of the best traders, some of the most successful people in the industry, most people, came from almost nothing. I think you're one of the craziest stories that I've seen on Instagram. That's why I really wanted to have you on, just go over, how you started, where you're at now, and then really just drop some education for the people who are, aspiring to be like you. So if you want to go really quickly, just explain how you started. Like, how did you get into trading? What were you doing before trading?
Yeah, so I feel like everybody out there, when they first got introduced to trading is like through IML. So everybody got introduced to IML, like, oh, come to this event. I actually had one of my high school friends. They were like, oh, you should come to this event that I'm going to come tonight. They're going to teach us how to trade. Right? Trade what, bro? Like what is this whole trading thing? So I put it to one of those IML events. They get you hyped up. They get you the music. They get you hyped, bro. Yeah, Wi-Fi money. Yeah, they get you good with the energy, and, I'll give it to them. First time I pulled up, they talked nothing about trading. And I get it. I'm like, oh, they can't reveal their secret strategies. Like, I have to buy into this stuff. I'm like, cool, fine. I don't mind investing into it. So I did nothing with it. Went back to work at Dunkin', do whatever. And then my boy that he actually went to the IMO event, he, stayed consistent, right? Like, he became, a P100 or whatever. He was making, $1,000 a month. Yeah, he just started the ranking. And then basically I started seeing him posting charts and stuff. I'm like, oh shit, this guy's legit. Let me go back to another one of these events and let me actually, hit it. So I go to another event with him and pretty much they sold me, bought into the course. And the IM Academy for beginners for what is Forex, what is trading, I think is one of the best ones. I give him credit where it's due. But pretty much after explaining what is Forex, so put in simple terms, what is a car, tires, door, window, engine. They don't really have anything else after that. So that's really kind of I had to branch out on my own. So after 2 months being in IML, pretty much figuring out how to sell their shit product to somebody else. I remember pulling up one time to one of their events and they're like, all right, here's a piece of paper, put down 100 contacts that you have and then call everybody and tell them to come to our next event. Bro, I don't even have 100 contacts on my phone, bro. He's like, no, you got to figure it out. You go out there, you put a sign. I'm where's the charts, bro? Yeah, bro, this is not how you trade, bro. It made no sense to me. So after that, I left. I went on YouTube, started thugging it out on YouTube, just figuring it out, right? Piecing all these strategies that you find on YouTube together. And that was the journey for 2.5 years while I was in Dunkin'. I got a big payout while I was in Dunkin' of $30K. So I was probably blowing accounts, consistently losing for about 2 years. And about the 6 months, 2.5 years is where I stopped losing. Right, I never started winning. I never stopped losing. I started making money right away. I just stopped losing, so I stayed in the game instead of completely crashing my account. I just started staying like this. I'm like, all right, there's something's going on here. Something's different. And then pretty much 6 months after that is where I had my biggest payout.
That's fire, bro. How did it feel after that?
It felt good, bro. I had a whole year of my expenses covered, and then I just quit. Yeah, I just never went back.
And you went full time with that?
Yeah, I went full time with that.
No, with trading, a lot of people think it's gonna.
Here, look.
Yeah, so with trading, a lot of people, what they don't understand is it's not going to be, you're losing. Oh, I'm the winner again. It's everyone tries. Most of the time, you're going to start out red on your P&L. Literally, I don't know a single person who's made it, or anyone in general who started off green and just stayed green forever. It's most people I know started off red and then they slowly built their way back up to green. And it's like you said, it's that staying afloat almost, just balancing. It's you're not losing anymore. It's not a downward spiral. You're slowly starting to find your groove and make strides in the right direction. So what changed from you constantly losing to starting to stay afloat and then having that big payout? What changed in your trading?
Yeah, so like what everybody wants to do is when they come, they just want to make money, right? Like I want to put money into account, I want to flip it, so I don't have to. Like my thing was like I want to flip $100 to 500, so I don't have to go to work on the weekend, right? I take the weekend off. So they're like I'm chasing the money, like I want to make $400, right? So now I go work the weekend. But when you put in percentage, like terms, that's like 400% in like 5 days, right? At least in Forex, that's like not realistic. You're like over leveraging the shit out of your account. So what made me shift was realizing that you can't chase the money. And then you got to realize that it's not going to happen when you say it is. Like the market, like you can't just pull up to the market and it's like, all right, I'm going to take a trade today and it's going to play out in my favor. Like that's just not how it works. Like the market has to give you a good trading setup. You could be a week without a solid setup, or you could be 2 weeks where it's fire. So you don't really determine it. That's where people have the wrong concept, because they're like, oh, if I go work tomorrow and I work hard, I'm going to get a paycheck at the end of the day, at the end of the week. So if I go to the markets and I go work hard, go put the time, I'm going to get a paycheck at the end of the day, end of the week. And that's not how it happens. And it took me about 2 years to realize that. And what shifted for me was just waiting for the best trade setups to pop up so I can take those solid trades so I can risk the money.
No, that's 100% correct. And one of the main things I like that you said is like waiting for the proper trade setups. A lot of people always say like, oh, myself included, only trade A+ setups.
Yeah.
Find out what your A+ setup is and only trade that. The main reason people lose is they're chasing every single move. Every single move up there, like, oh, like, let me get into calls. For us, it's calls, options trades. It's like, let me go long, let me go short here. Every single time that happens, it's you're really just getting into that. You're not really trading. You're just chasing. Trading is more like, hunting for prey, in my opinion. You're sitting there in the bushes. You're a hunter. You're looking for some deer. You wait an hour, 2 hours. When the deer comes, it perfectly lines into your scope. Then you shoot it, and you just look for that precision. Then people aren't focused on precision with trading. They're focused on the money, like you said. It's like, oh, how can I flip $100 into 500? They have to realize trading isn't a job, right? Trading is almost like a lifestyle, as cringe as it sounds. Yeah, that's really what it is. It's like you're trading, before you're trading time for money, and then now you're trading, what was I gonna say? But mainly what you're doing now is you're waiting for your setups to happen. And I think one of the main things for me as well, where I resonate with you, is my A+ setups. Once I just wrote down my A+ setup, and I was like, yo, this is the setup I'm going to take over and over and over again. Once I saw that setup form in the markets, it wouldn't come for a day, 2 days, 3 days, but when it came, I was taking it because I had conviction behind it. So,
I think a lot of the problem with trading now is people don't realize, people think that it's you versus the market.
Yeah.
Whereas really not. It's you're looking at the mirror image of yourself. Your exact, product of your trading is, it's like you're looking at yourself, right? It's what you do outside of trading that really comes down to it. So what were you doing outside of trading that helped you stay disciplined within that field?
Yeah, so I've always at the gym, so I guess I've always been consistent with the gym. I realized that there's sessions, right? So in Forex, there's 2 sessions, London and New York. I know you guys just have New York, like you guys just get the market open. So like for me, it was staying consistent with following rules. So simple rules is just trade only in that session. Like why are you in front of the markets when the market's essentially closed, right? So following those rules throughout my day, like I was never really like, I never did the whole, a lot of traders, like they do like the whole meditation, they do like the whole, like all that crazy, yeah, like all that specific routine. For me, it was just like, when it's time to trade, it's time to trade. You just follow the rules there. Yeah. But I cut off a lot of people, bro. I cut off like literally every single person I knew. I cut off smoking. I cut off drinking. I literally cut off everything for a whole 2.5 years of my life. Even almost like my family. I didn't talk to my sister. Like I've said this before. I didn't talk to my sister for like 3 months. Talked to my parents for like almost like a year. It was just me and the computer for the 4 hours a day, and then I was out. And in the time that I was out, I was just on YouTube trying to figure it out. Like, what can I do when I get back in? How to make money in that time? Yeah.
It's like really the behind the scenes effort that really, because at the end of the day, when you're hopping on the chart, it's like you're taking a test. So the only way to take a test is for you to prep for it.
Yeah.
And you're doing that, sacrificing things on the side, like, taking time to go over YouTube, take over, master your strategy a little bit more, find your entry setups a little bit better. You're practicing for that test. So once that 9:30 a.m. hits, or whenever you trade, for me at least 9:30 a.m., I'm entering the test room. And it's whatever I learn out there that like really comes to fruition. And I think that's what's really funny is that when people win as beginners, right? They're always like, damn, I was disciplined as shit. I was crazy. Markets, I was super focused. But once they lose, it's like, damn, the market fucked me over. And how do you feel about that? People not taking that self-accountability? what does that mean to you?
I mean, nobody ever wants to say they were wrong, right? And that's just in life in general. Like, even if you did something wrong, like something simple, like, oh, like I didn't leave the chair outside. Like nobody wants to assume the risk. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to be that guy. So, like, holding yourself accountable is just something that goes within you, and it's normal. Like, it's human nature that we're gonna avoid that. So it's just more of like a mindset thing that you have to grow into it, right? Like, nobody wants to accept that they're the one that wrong, because then it's just a lot easier to say, oh, that's it, and then you just remove all the pressure from yourself. So it just comes down to, like, do you want it or not? And then if you want it, you're gonna realize that you're wrong, and you just gotta figure out how to fix it.
Yeah, and a lot of people are thinking for this, like, that secret sauce, bro. What's the secret sauce? What if we key indicator that changes everything for everybody? Well, what's the secret book? I'm sure like you go like through a whole bunch of trading in the zone, all this shit. But I think, like, the main book that you should have, you create your own book, right? Your trading journal.
The secret is simple. All you have to do is just follow the trend. Once you follow the trend, you stick to your rules every single time. You trade within your session, and then you have to simply wait for your confirmation. And then you use risk management. You align all these things together, and just the odds of you succeeding are a lot better than that. It's just that
I
simple.
wonder why most people can't even follow a simple set of rules, because they're their own boss at that point. If you're working at a job, like when you're at Dunkin', if your boss told you to gave you a list of, tasks, and he told you to complete every one of those every single day, were you going to do it?
I have no other choice, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You had no other choice. When it comes down to a person who's trading, putting their hard-earned money into a trade, and you're like, yo, I need to follow this set of rules. I need to complete this, this, and this before I take a trade, meaning this setup needs to happen. It needs to break this trend line, whatever it is, right? Whatever your A+ setup is, and you set those rules for yourself. You want to know why it's so hard for traders to follow through? It's because they don't respect themselves enough as an authority figure or as a boss. They don't consider themselves a boss. If you put something out for yourself, and you're like, yo, I'm not going to trade the London session. I'm only trading this, and you catch yourself trading the London session, you have no respect for yourself. You don't have any respect for yourself because you're taught that you're worth nothing. Realistically, there's always been an authority figure over you, whether it was your teacher at school, whether it was the boss at work. And when you assume that position yourself, you feel out of place, and subconsciously you don't know that. So when you tell yourself these rules, remember, you're your own boss at that point. And you need to understand, hey, I'm taking this trade, I'm the boss, and I need to listen to myself. Because that's the accountability that goes into trading. That's why most people fail.
Yeah.
Because people, like you said, they don't want to be that.
Yeah, they don't
take accountability.
They don't want to be that guy, yeah.
That's a really good point that you made, because if you think about it, trading is a business, right? You got to trade. You said you have to be your own boss. So look at yourself when you're trading on discipline from a third-person viewpoint, right? Point of view, right? You're scrolling back on Instagram, leaning back in your chair, not caring about a stop loss, not caring about anything. Or I'm going to trade this session, or I'm going to over leverage this. If you were trading like for a prop firm, and then someone was overlooking you, you're have to get fired immediately, because you're breaking all the rule-based systems. Or even if you're at a job, right? You say, okay, I'm not going to work at this time right now. No, I don't want to go in the kitchen and do this. I don't want to move that around, right? You get fired. So you're doing this to yourself as a beginner trader. If you're a new trader, just going in and like, okay, I don't want to follow the rules. Oh, I want to trade at this time. Oh, and then you don't end up trading at this time. You wake up late. You're drowsy. You're undisciplined, right? That undiscipline essentially gets you fired, and that means blowing your account. You blowing your account, the market has fired you.
Exactly.
Right? You were responsible for that. So I think that's a really interesting point to make. I want to skip towards the successes now. We discussed the upbringing. How did you feel about your first 100K? How did you feel to do with it?
I mean, my first 100K, like when it hit the bank, honestly, it was like a thing that like I always, like everybody wants to make six figures, right? Like, well, I want to have the 100K in the bank. Like once I get it, I'm done. I'm successful. I've made it. And bro, when that shit hit my bank account, I felt no different. Like it was I even felt worse than before I had it. Because now I have the 100K and it's like, all right, now what? Like what's the next goal? Like that, like literally when I got the 100K in the bank, I'm like, that's it. Like that's really all it took. I'm like, no one's gonna come and applaud me, and it's just like that was kind of like a little bit of it let me down a little bit, but it's good because now I set a new goal. I'm like, all right, so now my next goal is I want to have $1 million net, like right, I want to have $1 million in the bank account. You hit the mill and it's the same thing. I got to the mill in the bank account, I'm like, that's it. Like what's next, right? I mean, that's kind of to me because I'm never satisfied. For me, the thing that mainly like gets me excited with the success is like the community. Like when I go to all these places and like I meet these guys and like I get back to them, that's the shit. Cause like it's cool. Like I leave here this pod with you guys. I go back. I get in my Lambo. I go to my $2 million home and I'm just there by myself and I'm chilling. I'm like, now what? Like I'm just here by myself all day. So for me, like the success is more of like if I could just like connect with people. Like what I'm doing with you guys here right now. You get me? That to me is more lit than like buying tangible things, because everybody can go buy a Lambo if you just have the $250,000 ready to go. But you can't buy these experiences and, you know, shit like this that happens. So
I think it's the person you become that gets that 100K, gets that $1 million.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the person that you should really be, you know, celebrating, right? That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Because people think, oh, he just made 100K. No, the importance is that he became a person that's worth 100K. I mean, he became a person worth it.
yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, that journey to like get the 100K is a lot funner than once you have the 100K. Like, it's 10 times funner than just looking at the money there, because you got to do a lot of shit to get there, right? You got to meet people, you got to go through losses, you got to go through experiences. So like the success thing, what I'm constantly doing is just raising the bar. Literally every single time, just when I hit a goal, raise it. That's why I'm giving away the Lambo now. Like that's the new bar that I raised.
Yeah, no. And what you were saying, like just raising the bar after the first 100K, after the first 10K, like realistically, once you start finding that profitability, all it is just scaling. And that's the beauty of trading. It's like you can literally scale it to unlimited numbers if you have zero emotion and you're crazy like that. But, you know, after the first 100K, it's like, all right, 200K comes, 300K comes, all right, M. Now I can get another M. It's like, it's just a matter of scaling up at that point. And, you know, like you said with experiences, you'll have one life, right? It's like, how much money can you buy? Like after the first 100, 200K per year, it's like, after 10K a month, life doesn't really change that much. Your groceries are taken care of. You don't have to look at the bill. You can DoorDash food if you want. You don't have to worry about, you know, bills that much. It's like after the first 10 to 20K a month, I think life is almost the same, right? But over 100K a month, over 50 to 100K a month, that's when you could get like some of the cool toys, like the Lambo. Like you pulled up in the Lambo, the Rocket 21 Lambo, you're giving it away. I also wanted to talk about that a little bit too, because that's the first time I've actually seen someone.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, you did an event in New York. So many people popped out.
Yeah, like 400 people popped out.
Yeah, I didn't know you had motion like that. No, I seen you pull up in the Lambo and I see the Rocket 21 challenge on it. I'm like, I asked you like off camera, I'm like, yo, are you actually giving it away or is it? And you're like, no, dude, 100% giving it away. So like, just break it down. Like, what is that? You know, how are you giving it away? What are you doing? What do you gain out of giving away a fucking Lambo?
Yeah. So I mean, so Rocket 21 is a prop firm. Like I'm funded with them, right? Like like it's the #1 community-based prop firm out there. So they're like the ones that actually care about the people. Like many of the prop firms, they just put an evaluation out there. Like you pass it, cool. You fail it, cool. Like we don't give a shit. So Rocket, they're mainly community-based. Like they have educators on there. They do live trading on YouTube every single week. I think they're gonna add a psychologist now. Like there's just like so much shit that Rocket does. And then I was part of other firms in the past. Like the reason why I'm here today is because of a firm. That's where I got my biggest payout. I got my $30,000 payout. I was never able to successfully scale $100 to 1,000 and be profitable with that. So the reason I'm here is because of a firm. I got a $30K payout, like $28,000 payout about 4 years ago, and I just kept scaling my funded account, right, for like the past 4 years. And now that I'm able to partner up with one, and then they're like, you know, I give them ideas and stuff, and I'm like, yo, like I think I got an idea how we can get like everybody on board, like show them like what like you guys are about. And everybody's goal when they become successful is getting a Lambo, right? Dream car, buying a Lambo. So I'm like, why don't we just give mine away? Let's just give my Lambo away to the guy.
When did you buy the Lambo?
Like 6 months ago. Yeah. So I was gonna keep it. Like I was gonna like twin turbo it and like do stuff to it. But I'm like, why don't we just give away the Lambo to somebody? And the way we're gonna give it away is gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fair. Not like that random bullshit raffles that like, oh, you buy a ticket and then. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You could win it. You could win a Tesla. Just buy a ticket and then you're gonna
Dealership to Florida, dealership to DC.
Yeah. No. That's not
$250 buying 100,000 people. All right, here's a 30,000.
No, bro. That's not how it works. It's gonna be free. You can literally just go register for the competition for free, and then we're gonna have the way of how we're gonna select the winner, and it's fair game for everybody. You know, everybody's gonna have the same opportunity to win the Lambo, and that's the reason why we did it, to basically show the people that it's legit, that everything. Like if they're gonna give you a Lambo, they could pay you out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And another thing about prop firms that I wanted to discuss really quickly, I know I actually not like prop firms a lot. But then once I started to really look into it, because I'd never used a prop firm to like really come up. And maybe it's just me being annoyed that I didn't know about prop firms when I first started, because honestly, that would have saved me so much time. Because I feel like prop firms really help build traders up.
Yeah.
Prop firms, it's like remember like we were talking about, you know, you're your boss, you're your own boss, you have your own rules. They give you the rules. And since most people are going to have to follow those rules, it's like, all right, this is the max drawdown, this is the daily drawdown, this is what you're going for. And they give you those parameters where it's like, yo, stay between these lines. And if you trade it properly, you'll get a really good reward. You'll get a 100K account, 200K account, whatever it is. So when it comes down to, you know, prop firms in general, for newer traders, do you recommend like, hey, instead of funding your account with $1,000, $2,000 and trying to, you know, hit a crazy play and take it to 10,000, do you recommend newer traders who start out? It's like, yo, like take an evaluation, put your all into it, and really use that to build up your trading skills?
100%. Like if you can't pass an evaluation, you're not trading. Like, and you're just simply not a successful trader, because if you can't stay within simple drawdown rules, you're just not consistent with risk management. It's just not going to happen. I can guarantee you right now, if you have your own personal account with $1,000, you're not going to risk 1 or 2% on it. Like you're not going to stay within the max daily loss or the max total loss. So the firms, like what we were talking about earlier, is literally your boss, essentially. Like it's forcing you to follow your rules. It's forcing you to stay within those parameters. Like it's literally telling you, bro, you do this shit right and you're going to get money. So for me, I would never consider like anybody to, like if you want to go have fun and like, you know, get the profits on the funded account and then go try and flip 1,000 to 10,000, by all means. But don't make that like your way to become successful in trading, because it's just not nowhere near as sustainable as a funded account, in my opinion.
And that's the one thing I really enjoy about funded accounts is they give you those rules and they actually promote following risk management. And when you have that, you know, ability to just like, oh, I'm going to risk 50% of my account, they're like, no, you're not risking 50%.
Yeah, sure.
It's like, that's not happening. It's like, well, how are you? It just doesn't work. And that's the one thing I really, you know, started looking into with prop firms, is just like how much of almost like a cheat code it is for good traders. If you're a new trader and you're starting prop firms and you're filling counts left, right, it's like, why are you trading? It's like you said, it's like you're not preparing for the test.
Yeah.
It's like you have to go off the charts and really lock in. So I see a lot of traders, bro, and they're like, they want to live the day trading lifestyle. You know how Instagram makes it before they even get there, they're like, you know, going to clubs, I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing out? You made $300 one day, you're down $700 last week. So what are you doing trading? Like, what are you doing, like, you know, flexing? It's like most people take it and they trade almost like for like social status, it feels like.
Yeah.
Where it's like trade for yourself, and it's like really lock in outside of trading hours. Real winners are made off the court.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I bring it back to Kobe every time. Like Kobe, it was like he'd play insane in the games, but then they would catch him at the gym at like 4 a.m. trading to like, you know, people would come into the gym, see him there at like 4 a.m. and they'd leave, come back later in the afternoon, he's still there. It's like that, and you need to be the first one on the court and the last one off the court every single time, especially with trading. The reason why trading is such a difficult career is because the rewards are so, you know, limitless.
It's you versus you, really, because people don't understand themselves well. They've never been in a situation where you have to manage themselves, right?
Yeah.
They think that they can just get in and start making a whole bunch of money, and they have that beginner's luck, and then it gets to their head, and then they should start going left after that one. And I think that, you know, if you're a beginner trader, right, you know, putting your own money in there, a lot of people think that, you know, oh, I need to feel the, you know, the risk of having my money in there so I can build a psychology. But if you don't have an entry system, you don't have a system or strategy at all, then that feeling the pain of your money going away isn't really good at all.
It's fine. It's just you're going to feel more down. It's not going to help.
Why feel pain? And that's another thing that you do a lot is your trading style is so different from anyone I've ever seen. Like, you know, your chain swing trading left, you're more of a swing trader. And one thing I love that you always say is set and forget. Yeah. Anything between your target and, you know, I want you to explain it. What's set and forget?
So yeah, set and forget is very simple, because the main question I would get when I get it, when you swing trade, is like, when do you close or when do you get out? It's like, bro, you just set a take profit and you set a stop loss and just set and forget. I guarantee you it's gonna hit one or the other. That's a fact, right? I've never seen the market just go flat. And if it goes flat, it's gonna wick either side. I guarantee you. But it's like, oh, like, it's almost at my take profit. Should I close before? I'm just like, no, dude, just set and forget. Like, let it hit it or don't. Like, it's very simple. So set and forget is like a very simple way to just remove all of the emotions out of it. Trading is like 90% emotion. Like, that's where the majority of the traders fail, because they're just tripping out all the fucking time. So if you just set and forget, you just let it do its thing. Oh, the trade is 50% into my stop loss, so I stop it out. It's like, no, dude. Like, why'd you put the stop loss there then? Like, you put it there because that's where you want to get out if you're wrong, right? Yeah. So like, dude, just fucking set and forget, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so simple. And that actually just came like one day where I was like, I did like live trading and stuff. And then it was like 11 o'clock. And then my take profit was like 20 points away to you guys. And then the guys, yeah, everybody in the Zoom chat was like, close. I'm like, dude, it's not fucking there yet, man. How the fuck am I gonna? They know, bro, get your money and run. The market's gonna take it from you. Like, bro, the market doesn't even know a minute, bro. Like, the market doesn't, they have no idea we're on a Zoom right now. They're not out here to get me, bro.
I feel like they mentioned that, get your money and run.
Yeah.
That mindset puts people in fear of the market.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to fear the market. Oh, let me just quickly make my money and get away from it. Pour myself up. And for mindset, it's so damaging, bro. Because you're teaching yourself, you're training yourself to just every single day you're fearful of the market. Like fucking yourself.
It's toxic. It's super toxic. Yeah.
And a lot of things, when you don't have a set price target and a set stop loss, you shouldn't be in the trade. Like you said, entry plan. And like when you mentioned, it's like it's almost normal for you to have a take profit and set a stop loss. New traders, they go into a trade, it goes green 20%. They're like, should I get out? They're up like $900 on their trade. They're like, oh, I want to go for the 1,000. Next thing you know, the trade's at $750. They're like, oh, if it goes back to 900, I'm gonna take profit. Then it goes to 500. They're like, if it goes back to 750, I'm gonna take it. Next thing you know, they're red. They're like, if it goes to break even, I'll take the profit. And it's like they'll be on the charts like, come on, give me 500, give me 700, give me 1,000. It's right there. It's like, who are you talking to, bro? The market, the market makers are like sitting there like, listen, who's that? Oh yeah, you've asked us a lot of times before, and we didn't give you your take profit, but today we might give it. It's like, bro, set it and forget it. Like, get all the emotions out. Go to your normal job. Go pick the garden, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, and people place the take like basically, so we said, oh, it's at 900. I want to see that 1,000. Like they're basing a trade around money. It's like, is the trade take profit at that number? Like maybe that take profit level isn't even a logical take profit for the price to get there. So that's why so whenever I trade, I don't look at my trade. I just look at the chart. So when I take the trade, I just look at the chart because I don't care about the money. You get me? I just care about price. Price is going to tell me pretty much what the numbers are going to tell me. So it's a little hack that I have.
A great way to look at it is like, if you think, I see so many people who are like, oh, I don't care about the money I make in trading. It's like, I look at the chart. It's like, why do you have your P&L up then? It's like every ticket showing your P&L. It's like, why? Every time I took my P&L completely off my screen, and that's when I really started to see like just me being able to scale up almost. It's like, because I don't see that green or red number. It's not hurting my brain. When I'm in a trade now, I'll just, it's just the chart. I have my little highlighted little long and short position, count my risk to reward. But with a lot of new traders, I ask them, I'm like, yo, do you trade based off dollar signs? They're like, no. And I'm like, do your eyes just linger over like in a trade? Your tunnel folks, or like your P&L's up here, like does it ever linger over to the P&L to see what it's ticking at? It's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, you're trading your P&L. It's like, no matter what you do, once you detach yourself from that dollar amount, it's like, don't set your risk reward like, okay, I'm going to lose $200 and I'm looking to make $400. It's like, there you go. You're trading your P&L.
Yeah.
Look at the chart, draw out your risk reward. Once you see that risk reward is above 2, for me personally, it's like over 2, over time, you could lose 50% of your trades, but that 2-to-1 risk reward is going to keep you profitable. Mm-hmm. And, what do you have to say on just like overall risk to reward? What's your risk to reward strategy?
I mean, my minimum risk reward is a 1 to 2.5. Like I told you guys earlier, like I lose more than I win. Yeah. So I'll probably lose 6 trades, but the 4 that I win, I get a minimum 1 to 2, max like a 1 to 8, 1 to 9 risk to reward.
Consistently size the same per trade?
Yeah, it's the same percentage. So I have a thing at the beginning of every single month. I select a percentage that I'm going to risk for the whole entire month. Because if you just move your percentage like up and down throughout the week, the monthly P&L is just not consistent. You get me? It just makes no sense. Like you can win 5 trades in a row, risking 1%. And as soon as you scale up to 2%, you pretty much lose the next 3 trades. It completely fucks up your P&L. So if you start at 1% and you remain the same the whole entire month, the losses average out along with the wins. So I every single month I reset the percentage and I stick throughout it the whole entire month.
That's actually the first time I've ever heard someone say they like pre-calculate their entire month's risk on the first day of the month.
Well, no, like I don't like, oh, I only want to risk like 10% of my account the whole entire month. No, like I only risk, let's say 2% of my whole entire account for the whole entire month. So I could take 100 trades, but every trade is 2% every single time. Do you know what I mean?
Because people like, take one trade with 2% and then they become like fearful and they go 0.5% of it.
And then that trade they win, but it doesn't make back the loss. Yeah, so you have to just stick to the same percentage.
How important do you think it is to have some sort of cushion like when you trade? Like you just mentioned 2% of your account. I know a lot of people at home are going to be like, oh, well, yeah, Alex has millions, like 2% for him is anything. It's like, what do you have to say to that? It's like,
go get funded. Exactly. Just go get funded, bro. Get good, get skilled, and go get funded, and that's it. And you'll have the cushion. Like this, it's not like I'm not a fucking alien. Like I just did the same shit, So having a cushion is important because it just gives you like that breathing room of like, yeah, I don't have.
People try to trade with their last $100 ever, or like, bro, I only have $50 in my bank account. How do I clip, bro? First of all, trading isn't for you at that point.
Yeah,
go get something else. Go tutor. Go hide behind a red box. So
yeah.
Go do something else and be able to, like, for me it was tutoring, right? I didn't really like to ask my parents for money or anything, but what I did was just go tutor. And the only thing, so I started with like, penny stocks, but also did Forex at first, right? Which I eventually moved to futures. But, to fund my, MetaTrader account, I used to do tutoring. And then I blew that account, then I couldn't trade until I, did more tutoring and built my account up. So I think, if you're trading with your last money, this it's psychologically not sound.
I mean, just consider it gone. Like, consider.
It's like the person, in the movies where it's like it's their last $100. They go to the casino and they try to make it. It's like you're turning trading into gambling at that point. The only difference between trading and gambling is trading, you can stop out when you won. You have a stop loss. In gambling, it's like, all right, either you put your money in, you're going to double, or you're going to lose it all.
Yeah.
And then most people carry that mindset over into trading. And they always forget to just like, to stop. If you have a proper stop loss and you have proper risk management, and everyone's always like, it's the most cliche shit ever. Like, I cringe when I say, just have risk management. Like, bro, literally, just have risk management. Just know what your stop loss is. Have your take profit 2.5 points higher than whatever your stop loss is. And it's like, have a positive R multiple, and you won't lose. Over time.
Yeah, over time, yeah.
Up with that, your mindset in after winning and losing trade is really important. And, you can touch up on this in just a second. But how far do you think, the positive affirmations you give yourself, even if you lose or win, right? I think that's really important, because if you lose a trade and you call yourself dumb, I'm stupid, I can never place a trade right, you're self-hypnotizing yourself into thinking you're actually stupid and dumb, and that's going to reflect across all your trades. Instead of telling yourself, okay, I made a mistake here, but where did I make a mistake? And how was that for you? How was that shift in mindset to, becoming that person to be consistent in what you do?
I mean, the simplest way that I can put it is like, just because you have a bad day doesn't mean you have a bad life. So if you have 3 bad days in a row, you still have a whole life ahead of you. So you can still have 3 bad days and there's still, more days left in the week. So you can still have 4 good days. You still have a good week, right? So when you have those losing days, it's just part of the process. Just because you have a bad trade doesn't mean you're a sucky trader. That means you're not going to be successful in trading. It just means you just had a bad trade. You had a bad day. So the simplest way that I can put it is, if you have a bad day or 2, it doesn't mean you're going to have a bad rest of your life. So if you have a bad day or a good day, the good days and bad days come, wins and losses come. So, it's not just because you have a losing trade doesn't mean you're a bad trader. Yeah. Simple.
Yeah, it's literally a numbers game at the end of the day, right? You just have to be consistent enough with, you can flip a coin, and if you have sound risk management, you'll eventually make money.
Yeah.
Right? And people don't realize that, and they think that, stop loss, I'll just broaden my stop loss a little bit. Oh, my stop loss is mental.
Nah,
Make
I'm such thing. Yeah.
a huge candle to the upside that goes beyond your screen.
Yeah.
You're gonna think, oh shit,
It's gone. Yeah.
you're gonna either that's gonna go to zero or that's gonna come down, right?
Yeah.
It'll liquidate you.
Yeah, literally, you become exit liquidity for the market, and man, your stop loss gets hit, your life's over.
Yeah.
No crowd. Literally give hand jobs outside of Wendy's.
Or you can have a strict stop loss there, and you get taken out, It's part of risk management. So do you set hard stops as well?
100%, yeah. I always set a stop loss. I never set a take profit. Defeats the purpose of set and forget, right? So I set a visual take profit, because if there's momentum, I can still gain an extra 0.5% or 1% more if I just watch the market every candlestick closure. I want to cap my losses, but I don't want to cap my profits. You get me? So that's why I always put a stop loss, never put an actual take profit number. I just set and forget. And when price gets there, my take profit, depending on the rejection and stuff, I determine if I close or not.
It's an interesting point you make. You don't cap your gains. And what people do as beginner traders is that the whole point of this is to avoid pain, right? So the reason they're losing trade is to avoid the pain of it reversing on them and eventually becoming profitable, and also avoiding the pain of taking that loss. So, and then once their trade goes green, to avoid that pain, they immediately take profit.
Yeah, and to avoid the pain of them losing the profit.
Exactly. So it's good that, the fact that, you let it run, you let your winners run instead of just immediately cutting that shit out, and it's now, you just miss out on a whole bunch. But do you believe in, taking partials at certain levels, especially to build capital?
So I've tried to do that before. I've tried to close partial. I've tried to scale in. None of that stuff ever works for me. So for me, it's just to take one trade. I try to average 2 trades a week max. For me, the less the better. When you're trading $1 million, $2 million account, you'll make 100K off just one trade chilling. It's 2-3% of the account, right? So I try to take less trades because they're higher probability setup. It's a lot less stress, worry for me. So honestly, I would just say to stick to the most valid trade setups, honestly. It's the simplest way to put it. I don't want to take a lot of trades.
So as a beginner, were you in the cycle of over trading?
Oh, bro. I thought the more trades, the more money. Because, you know, you come from the mindset that you work a job, the more time you work, the more money you make. So more trades I take, the more money I should make, and that's just not how this shit works. It's just not how it works.
How did you like remove that fear of like, you know, oh, I missed the move this. Like,
So when you miss a move, it's like, all right, you go look at previous price. You just missed like 30 years of price. How do you feel about that? How do you feel? Like nothing, right? Because you know more opportunities that are gonna come. Like you weren't involved in the market 30 years ago while that price actually happened. All right, bro, 30 more years are gonna come. Like more opportunities will be there. That's the simplest way.
people have that FOMO and that, oh, that was a missed. Look, they don't have a real system. If you have a system that consistently gives you like, you know, a setup to trade, or like, you know, gives you like high quality setups to trade, missed moves don't really, like, they won't bother you because you know your system is going to allow you for another set of that, for another opportunity. So a lot of people ask, you know, how do I get rid of FOMO? How do I get rid? Design a fucking system.
Yeah.
Build a system that you can trade around. If you don't have a system, everything's going to be FOMO. Everything's a missed move. That is like, you're trying to play candle to candle, you know? You're trying to cast that candle to candle is going to become very toxic. And you're going to go from, you know, being patient as a trader to buy and sell, buy and sell. Because you know how easy metal trader, it's click.
Yeah, it's very bad.
You have to go find the contract, and you have to be like, all right, I'm going to get filled here. But no, on futures, metal trader, buy and sell, buy and sell. You'll go out the fucking field there. You see that.
Forex or futures.
What happened?
There's no PDT for Forex. No PDT.
PDT.
These literally just click buyers.
But it's all like limited.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes you see.
Every green candle buy, every red candle sell. I remember when I started, I started paper trading when I first started, like the first like week. Dude, it wasn't even paper trading. It was on Robinhood. I had 3-day trades every single week, right? That's how Robinhood worked. Remember, I was buying like the top gainer of the day. I'd buy the second that fucking candle turned red, bro. I'd sell. I'm like, all right, I'm going to buy more. I'd buy. Next candle's red and I sell. Bro, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, yo, why the fuck is it every time I buy, it goes down? Every time I sell, it goes up. It's like, it made no sense. And I think that's a reality for a lot of traders. Everyone experiences that. There's definitely times where, you know, even when I started getting good, it's like, bro, every time I buy, why the fuck does it pull back? And it's because I feel like a lot of traders don't really go back and journal their trades and really don't go back and study how they trade. Just like when you take a test, you get a 75, right? Say you had even a green trade, right? Like, say you failed the test, you got a 50 on your test. You're going to go back, you're going to review your mistakes, and if your teacher lets you make corrections, you're going to go make those corrections and see if you can bump your grade up, right? Now, if you got a 75 and she still lets you bump your grade up, you're going to go back, figure out your mistakes, and go get a higher grade, aren't you? It's common sense. So why aren't you doing that with money? Why aren't you doing that with trading? Why do you put so much more emphasis on, you know, your grades? I'm not saying don't put emphasis on your grades, but I'm saying, like, why wouldn't you do that with your hard-earned money? It's like, when you lose a trade, you should immediately go back and see, what could I have done better? What did I do right? How can I keep making these good decisions? What did I do wrong? How do I fix it? And add that to the good decision pile. Even when you have a green trade, go back and look at what you did right and see what you could have done better. Replicate it over and over until the point where you're making very, very little mistakes.
See, like, people want to change their circumstances, but they don't want to change themselves. Like, their mindset is the most important. That's the key part that takes you to the next level. You know, like, yes, you can spend shit ton of time on charts, but if it's not quality time, like Shinobi was telling me, like, bro, you can spend like 10 hours on a chart, but if you're just looking at it and then you're on Instagram scrolling, on Reels, and you go back and grab food, and it's like, it's not quality time on the charts. You're not focusing on something that's replicable. So I want to ask you this. Are the trades you take, it's a consistent setup, right? It's similar across the board, right?
Yeah, it's a very simple setup. I look to have 3 time frames in sync, so like weekly, daily, 4 hour. I look to buy at a weekly or daily area of interest. I look for a shift to structure at that area of interest, and I look for my bullish or bearish engulfing at that area of interest in my session. That's literally it. That's my one term.
Replicable setup.
Yeah.
If you go through a journal, it's basically the same setup every single
Like, if that doesn't happen, I simply just don't take the trade.
There you go. That's what people need to understand, that because they, you know, learn a strategy and then, you know, they don't take the trade from the strategy. That's why the trade goes against them all the time. Because, you know, let's say your strategy gives you an entry signal, right? You don't take that. Once it starts ripping, you're like, all right, let me chase that. You completely miss the point of the strategy. I mean, you wonder, well, how, like, you know, every candle reverses on you, you know, and then you go through that self-fulfilling prophecy when you keep telling yourself, oh, this candle keeps reversing on me. This shit does that does this, right? And you go through this negative spiral. So, yeah, you need to have the same consistent setup every single time. And how long did it take you to develop that?
Probably took me about 2.5 years, I'd say, of just consistent, just like fuck up. And then probably like around like 2 years, like about 3 years is where I figured out, like, yo, it really is that simple. You just need the higher time frames in sync. You just need to buy at the weekly or dailies. Like, it took me probably like a little over 2.5 years to like figure out what I was doing, like what made the most sense.
Let's go back into your mindset a little bit. How do you feel after a winning trade or a losing trade?
Whenever I lose, I actually, I don't want to say like I like losing more than I win, but like whenever I lose, it's just like chill. Like what I like where'd I fuck up, right? Like I'll go and be like, oh fuck, I entered a little too early, or oh I didn't like, you know. Whenever I fuck up, I like it because like I get to fix it. Like I love haters, bro. I love the haters, bro, because the haters are like, it's a free consulting company. Like they're pointing out your wrongs. I literally post every single story once a week. I'm like, haters, what did I do wrong this week? Like, oh, you fucking did this, you did this. I'm like, all right, thanks, I just fixed that. Like, it's very easy, right? So whenever I lose a trade, that's like a hater right there. I just go in and fix it. So whenever I lose, I don't care. Whenever I win, that's why I took the trade. You know what I mean? I took the trade to win. So I you know, that's the reward of the risk that I took. So
Failing is like, it's not even failing, to be honest. Like it's simple loss, right? Doesn't mean like your trading career is over after that, unless you want it to be. Yeah, I can over leverage to set out the account and then bang, your trading career is done. But I think that really teaches you more about your strategy than anything else, because you realize, okay, this part is not working. I'm fucking up here, I'm fucking up there. Versus like if you just all take wins, then how do you know what you're not supposed to do? Mm-hmm. So I think that's, you know, that part is a necessary step. Doesn't mean you have to like take a loss that's so big that destroys you. No, have a little bit of common sense, because it's the money you work to make. You can't just like, because it's internet money, right?
Yeah. People are like, oh, how much do I have to lose to make money? It's like, bro. Like that's not how this works. Like the goal's not lose, bro. You know what I mean? Like oh,
so once I hit 20K loss, then I start making money.
Yeah, it's like, no, bro. That's not how this works, man. You just gotta like I mean, if you want to, fuck it, you know. Like, but they're like. Yeah, like there's no and then how much time after you lost that will the money come back? It's like, dude, I don't know how many times do you pop up to the markets? Is it like once a week? Then you're gonna have once a week results. You go every day, you're gonna have every day results. You get me? So it's whatever you put in, you get up.
You can't, like, this is cool, bro. Like, you can't cheat the grind, right? It knows how much time you put in. It knows the sleepless nights. It knows that you were fucking around or actually focused on it. It knows all of that. It documents all of that. And then, you know, if you put in one more effort, you get one more result. And so you need to put in that work. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because people think, again, like I'm going to dental school, right? And for me to pass the dental admission exam, right, it took a long 3-4 months of pure study, right? And I got a 99th percentile on the exam, right? Not that it means much or anything, but it shows that, you know, one of the key things I've done was every time I got a question wrong, I wrote it down on a separate piece of paper, and I had this list of like 300, 400 questions where I got wrong, where I messed up, and I reviewed that, and I realized that that's the same thing you got to do with trading, right? When you take those losses, you journal that, right? You don't just dismiss it, right?
Exactly, 100%. I mean, I'm at the point now where like like whenever I'm wrong, I don't journal anymore. Like I should, right? Like you're supposed to practice what you preach. But I pretty much know where I went wrong, or simply just the trade didn't go in my favor. Like there's no strategy that's ever gonna be 100%. Like it's just not gonna happen. So it's just like doing like little tweaks in there. But
for me, come up.
Oh, bro, like I would screenshot. Bro, I would take a picture every second. Bro, my Snapchat is like, bro. I mean, dude, I have like a whole folder on my Instagram that I would download it from my old iPad that I had. Like, all right, this morning I feel great. I'm gonna take a trade because I feel great, and then I'd take one at the end of the day, and then I would just compare the different results. So I have like so much just data on myself and like how I would feel. So I would say that's like one of the biggest things that action.
Self-data, you gotta analyze yourself, right? It's a you versus you game, right? If you're like coming to the market as a loser, you're gonna be a loser, right?
Yeah.
And that little analyzing your own data is the most important thing. All these social media companies analyze your data to the fucking T. They don't miss anything. Your screen time to the second, to the millisecond. How much you spend time on this reel or whatnot. And if you're not doing that with yourself, how are you going to know yourself better? So, yeah, wonderful point.
I know, bro, back in the day, I used to literally screen record all, like, from 9:30 to 4 o'clock. Every single day, I'd screen record my buys and sells. Dude, I'd forget about it. And there's points where I have like 12-hour recordings on I'd be like, yo, why is my disc full? And it's just one like 12-hour recording of me just trading. And I was just like, dude, I'd go back and I'd look at them and I'd be like, all right, why did I enter here? Why didn't I just wait for this? Like, why did I like, oh, it broke out? Like, why did I get so excited? Like, I'm acting like I've never seen a breakout before. It's like small things like that you notice as you like stamp your trades and go back and look at. And, you know, going over just losing trades, you have to get really comfortable with being a loser. And I think what I mean by that is like, if you've grown up and like, you know, different circumstances
like, you know, hard circumstances, you don't have the, you know, the best come up, your parents weren't super rich, just like whatever it is. I feel like that really sets you apart from most of the crowd when it comes to trading, because it really gives you that sort of fire and that kind of, you know, drive to be like, all right, you're comfortable with losing. And I'll say it right now, there was a point in time where I literally thought I was meant to lose at everything. Like, I wasn't good at sports, I wasn't good at school, I wasn't good at anything. And it's like, even trading, when I first started, I was so bad, and I'm like, bro, I'm not good at anything. But trading is one of those things where it's like, if you work hard enough on yourself, it's like, you don't have to be the most athletic, like, it's whatever. It's like, it's an equal equation of like how much effort you put in equals how much results you get. How do you think that lines up with just your story in general? You know, just bringing it back to sort of your come up, like, how much effort was going in? Like, were you comfortable being a loser? Like, like straight up.
I mean, so like it's either like I made it or I stayed doing donuts. You know what I mean? I didn't like doing donuts, bro. It's just very simple. I just had to figure it out. I didn't have a plan B. I didn't have nobody that was gonna come and, you know, save me or give me a little help if I needed it. So it was pretty much all on me. And I say like not like the unknown is kind of what drove me. And knowing that if I made something and then I fucked up and I had to get it back myself, made every single step that I took be extremely cautious and just make sure any move that I did was 100% confirmed. I didn't buy my first supercar, and so I could have bought like 3 cashed out. Because once you buy that supercar, you can't go back down. Like once you reach once you reach that new level, like there's no going back. So I kind of had to figure out on my own, fucking 20 years old, just like, all right, is this the right time to buy a $200,000 car? Like, yeah, if I could buy 3 of them cashed out right now, all right, let's do it. So it was just like that unknown and consistently like just figuring it out by myself that I think drove me to where I am today, because I have the hunger inside of me. Nobody else was guiding me or suggesting me, and I had no fallback net for plan B. So every single move and every single thing that was done was 100% calculated.
I really think that comes just from the way you were raised and the way, you know, the situation you were in before you started. I think you start out as a trader, and a lot of people take trading as their way out of sort of like, you know, being stuck in the system. And I think it's a beautiful thing, but also it's a very risky thing, because when you're stuck in the system for so long and you don't really have any sort of direction, you don't have people telling you, like, it's like, there's not many day traders out there telling you, yo, do this, and there's a lot of frauds out there too. It's like, do this, do that, like, and buy my $3,000 mentorship that lasts one day. It's like, what are you doing, right? What it comes down to really is just knowing how to separate real from the fake. How, like, when you were coming up, like, you said you bought IML. How much did you invest into yourself? Like, just say from your salary or your payouts, how much were you investing into yourself to just like learn more about trading?
Bro, everything that I had was going back into myself. I bought probably like 10 different courses: how to scalp, how to microscope, how to day trade, how to intraday trade, how to swing trade. Like, I just try to figure it all out, right? Because I was gonna make a master strategy of all of them together. That shit doesn't work, right? Like, that shit just didn't work out. I just pretty much the one that made the most sense for me. I kind of give it like my own touch to it as well. But if you're not investing into yourself, who is? So if you're not giving yourself the proper resources to succeed, nobody's going to come and give it to you. So I say, if you're not doing that, you're just like, so like, it's very simple. If you're not going to do to what it takes to invest in yourself, somebody else is, and they're going to surpass you. That's just really all it comes down to.
People would rather spend $300 a week on weed rather than investing in service. It's like, it's like, where are your priorities at that point? How are you ever going to become a trader if you're not investing into yourself? Like, dude, there was a point in time I was paying $200 a month for this Discord. I owed like $3,000 to my parents, and I'm never saying do it. I was working 2 jobs, and every single dollar I was getting from DoorDash, every single day there was money coming into my account. It would go straight to my bank, straight to my trading account. Then the job I was working overnight, the gas station, all that money was going back into reinvesting in myself as a, you know, into my education. Like, bro, if you're trying to become a doctor, if you're trying to become an engineer, like, bro, if you're trying to become a doctor, you got to spend 8+ years in school. Mm-hmm. School isn't free. How are you going to learn and excel at something, you know, like, in overnight? Like, people want doctor type of salary off trade here. In like a week, it's like, oh, I just started trading, I made $100K. Like, no, dude, that's not how it works. If becoming a doctor or becoming an engineer or just getting even a low-level entry job for $70K a year, right, out of college, it's like, bro, it's going to take you minimum 4 years. Yeah. Why are you rushing the process? And a lot of people who start trading, and a lot of people who follow us are like, you know, our age. Like, dude, I'm 20 or 22. Man, so he's 20. Blah. It's not, bro, we're all, it's crazy. 22, 22. It's like, dude, most of our followers are also low, like, you know, our age, and they relate to us in some sorts. One thing I have, you know, a really big recommendation I have for people that are starting out is like, take your time with it. You have so much time in your life. If you're trading in your 20s, bro, you've probably had this too. I'll meet like traders who are 27, 26, 30 years old, and they're like, bro, I wish I started when you started. You probably get that so much.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, and it's like so many people think they have to make it by 25, have to make it by 22, have to be like, what's the rush? Enjoy the process, because once you get there and you look back down, like you get on top of the mountain, you look back down and like, damn, like
That's it.
like that's it. Like I enjoyed, like I could have enjoyed it. I could have taken my time. If it's like not even taking time, it's just like really enjoy the process and learn to fall in love with the grind. Because once you fall in love with the journey, your entire life is a journey, and you're gonna start to see not just like dollar signs as motivation. You're gonna just see the enjoyment through the journey.
And also, a point that you mentioned, don't rush it, but also move with a sense of urgency in life. Move with a purpose. Don't just be like, all right, yeah, I'll tackle it tomorrow morning, and then how are you with that? Was there a source of urgency that you got to get it done, but you have to do it right?
I mean, there was like I kind of had like a time crunch. Like I wanted to just make the 100K before like 21, right? That was just like my goal. So it was just like goal setting, and it happened. Then you set another goal and another goal. So urgency comes to just goal setting. So you just gotta set realistic goals. You gotta be realistic with yourself. Like you can't just come into trading like tomorrow and be like, I want to make 100K like next week. Like, yeah, you gotta be realistic. And like figure out what the fuck is a pip first. Figure out what is TradingView or wherever you guys trade on. So I like this. Yeah, you guys use TradingView? Yeah. Okay, yeah. So like the sense of urgency, it just comes down to goal setting. Like set realistic goals, and once you hit that one, or once you feel like you're getting close to it, just set the next one right before. So once you get there, you're not like disappointed in a way, and you don't lose that urgency, you don't lose that fire.
And the urgency in actually getting back to it and trying to grind your way through it. Right? How are you with any advice on being persistent through it? How was that process for you?
I mean that just goes in the person, bro. Like I'm a persistent ass fucking person, bro. Like I'm just there every day. Like that just goes in the person. You can't teach that. That just kind of goes and say you got it or you don't. Yeah. So if you want it, you're gonna do it. If you don't want to do it. Like I guarantee you, like some guys that love Call of Duty, you're persistent for that shit. You get home from school, you go home, bro. You're gonna go play COD. Like like that's what you want to do. That's what you're persistent for, bro. Everybody's persistent for something, whether it's COD or smoking or going out to the club or gym. Everybody has a drive for a certain thing. You just gotta learn how to take that same drive to go play COD. But the trading, just fucking throw that Xbox out the fucking window, bro.
It's like a lot of people like spend more time on building their My 2K character. Okay, I got NBA 2K and I was like, what's the best build? I was going on YouTube like, what's the best build? And then once I go through this the comment section, this guy was like, bro, I'm about to grind this shit all week. And I'm thinking like, bro, what if you grind at basketball all week? You might have made it to the fucking NBA, right? With that grind, like something, I'm like, all right, fuck this. I didn't build a 2K account. I'm like, all right, yeah, forget that. I'm gonna go back to charting and all that stuff. So it's like people would rather spend more time upgrading their GTA character, their NBA 2K character, making the best, making the tallest and shit. And it's like they won't really do that with themselves. Once they get off the game, it's like their entire persona goes away. Mm-hmm. And like, you're not that guy.
What all those people do, they'll do all that grinding on 2K, they'll come to you, bro, put me on, man. Like, it's like, no, put yourself on.
You put your 2K character on, you throw that trade and you put your 2K character on.
You bought fucking, what is it? Fucking, what the fucking V bucks, bro?
Yeah, V-Bucks.
What the fuck is it for?
For Fortnite, that's for Fortnite.
Yeah, that's for Fortnite. What's it for 2K? Because now I look dumb.
Oh, no, wait.
Whatever the case may be.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good thing. You know all about the charts.
It's still like 200 on fucking Fortnite, but the moment someone tells you, right, that it's in a position you want to be, it tells you, all right, $50 for this course here, or like 100, $200 for this course. You're like, nah. All this shit should be taught free on the internet. What? So that means all your teachers should be free. Like, you shouldn't be paying your teachers at all. Like, you shouldn't be paying colleges because all the math courses free on YouTube. I hate that logic. It's such a scarcity mindset. Oh, I shouldn't pay for anything. Oh, my last video, I can't pay for that, right? It's like, bro.
It's just priorities at the end of the day. Like, they'll pay for the 2K, bro. They'll pay for the GTA.
They'll pay for the bud, bro. They'll pay for the they'll pay for that, but they won't really invest in themselves. They need to put all.
They want to change their circumstance, but they don't want to change themselves.
You have to go get finesse and lose all your money, but it's just like, if you want to learn, like, for example, bro, I made like around like, coming up, I made around like $1,500 off just tutoring, right? The first couple months, right? 4 or 5 months, just grinding on tutoring and $1,500 in my account. First thing I did when I learned about stocks was I bought like a $300 course, right? And then I proceeded to pay like $100, $200 a month just to be in part of this chat. right? And sure, that might have been overpriced and all that, and not the smartest decision for my fucking bank account. But I realized, like, bro, if I like had showed me that I'm really passionate about learning this shit, and eventually, if you want it, you're gonna get to it, right? You're not gonna make these excuses, tell me, oh, no, it should be free on the internet. Investopedia has it. You're paying for the experience that the person's giving you. That's what you're paying for.
You're learning from experience. You're learning things that you wouldn't learn unless you're learning from other people's mistakes, really.
Exactly.
Like when you teach anyone, you're like, yo, dude, don't take, you set and forget, bro. You were probably the guy before that was like watching, like right before your price target hits, sells, and next thing you know, blows past your price target. And then you're like, now you're teaching people, it's like, bro, don't set the TP, just set the stop loss and just let it ride the momentum.
I mean, so anybody that didn't want to like buy a course, like invest into this, the simplest way is like, all right, bro, just go figure it out yourself. Like,
This whole person.
yeah, just go figure it out yourself. Like, go watch a YouTube video and just figure it out. Or you gotta pay me, bro. Like, it's just that simple, man. And bro, like,
My time, you know, it's because it's field day. Doesn't need like I'm gonna sit down with you here and then spend 2 hours in you, right? Because you said please, and then spend all my time teaching you, and I get nothing in return.
And the thing is like I know you have a free Telegram. I have a free Telegram. And one thing I noticed between the free people and the people who pay for free, they just assume like they don't really care, bro. They don't care to learn it. But when the second there's a dollar amount drop, guess what? That emotion kicks in, and they're like, yo, I need to learn this, and I need to learn it, in depth. When you put money onto something, like if I get like, someone gives me a $200 t-shirt or a $200 hoodie for free, I'll wear it around, I'll like throw it around, whatever. But if I put that $200 into that hoodie and I bought it myself, bro, you best believe I'm making sure not a stain gets on it, like just anything you like. People don't see the value in free. You post so much free stuff on YouTube.
Nah,
They start on your stories, and people start like, yo, why do you charge? Why do you do this? Like your free consultations. It's like, bro, you put out so much free stuff. It's like, why don't you go watch that? Why do you always come for the one thing where it's like, yo, this is paid? It's like, the free shit is out there.
Again, it's toxic mindset, bro. People aren't willing to, it's scarcity. It's like pinching the last money, like. And it's not right. If you're at that position, then go out and do something. You don't, put your time, exchange your time for money. That's what you have to do. Go get a normal job and then work your way up until where you can be like, all right, I can afford that and I can do that. And then you can back yourself up with it. But if you're just going to go hate on every course, hate on everything that people sell, right? At the end, you're buying a service, right? And how would you feel, if you have to sit down with like 4 hours and not get compensated for shit?
yeah, no, fuck that. I'm not doing that.
But what are you doing that, bro?
just for them to take whatever you learn and just like text you like, yo, what was this you said again, bro? It's like,
Yeah, nah, I'm good.
And it's like, they probably didn't care. They half-ass care. Like, I was spending the most time on the charts when I paid that New Year's course. Just like, fake it. I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, all right, bro, I need to spend time on this. And like, actually, I was spending 10 hours a day learning it. And then that's when I took it seriously. But if I did it for free, so tomorrow I'll go and watch it on YouTube. Like, bro, learning the DAT, dental admission test, the course is $500, bro. To just, like, it's a 2-month course, 3 months course, it's $500. And you have to buy that shit to, like, learn it. Or you study for the SAT, you gotta buy these books. But when someone's teaching you, all right, bro, I'll teach you how to make money, but you gotta pay me, like, oh, wait a minute, that's where I draw the line.
I mean, bro, if you're simply in the business of make money, you just need to have money to make money. Like, it's just that, like, this is not gonna come out of like air. Like, it's just not like like pixie dust or whatever. You gotta invest into yourself, and you gotta have money to make money. You're not gonna make money with $100. You're not gonna make money with no knowledge. So, get education, get funded. It's very simple.
also, I know we keep saying like, yo, go spend time on charts. It's like after a while, guys, your issues aren't on just TA. You find that A+ setup and you stop taking it and you start taking random trades. That's not because your TA was off. Really just comes down to you versus you. It's like, where's your psychology at? If you're a trader and you see yourself, you can draw the the best trading strategy. You know exactly where the market's going, but you just can't execute on it. You just hop into a trade. It's like you're saying it's gonna be long and you somehow enter a short. It's like that's not a TA error. That's more so just a psychology error. And it's like, how much emphasis do you put onto psychology when you trade?
Yeah, so psychology is probably 90% of why it took me about 2.5 years to become successful, because I understood how to read the markets. I understood like what market structure was. Like, I understood everything. I just didn't understand like simple, like basic things, risk management. I didn't understand patience. I didn't understand set and forgetting. Like, I just didn't understand these things. So for now, I'm so numb to the market. Like, it's fucking crazy, bro. Like, it's so boring. That's what I'm saying. I kind of like losing sometimes, right? It spices things up a little bit. So like, I say, like, the reason why I'm numb is because like when you're a fighter and you get punched so many times, like, you're just numb to that shit. Like a punch is coming, you just like block it or you just prepare for it. So like over time, like when you lose so much, you experience so much, you pretty much become numb to the things. So I say psychology, you got to build into it. Like there's no psychology course. Like I tried coming out with one, try to help people, but you can't teach experience. You got to go to you got to tell me right now your dad or your mom didn't tell you, oh, son, don't do this. Like this is going to happen to you. You're like, fuck out of here. Like, as you know, like, yeah, like you want to, it's like you got to go and you got to get burned. So you realize it's the same shit with trading. Like you can't teach experience. You got to go through your own experience. So you got to just let them go through the journey, blow their accounts, and then they'll come back and then they'll realize they were wrong.
Because realistically, when you first start off, you're not worried. You're like, all right, you know, I blew 1 account, 2 accounts, 3 accounts, 4 accounts. Like, once you get, like, you blow a bunch of accounts, and then you're like, yeah, I should probably to start taking this a little bit more serious. And, you know, even just, like, a little off topic of trading, it's just like anything in life. Every time you fail, you just have to get back up. If you're the type of person, like, you'll succeed in trading if you're the type of person who'll get knocked down 9 times and get up 10 times. It's like, no matter what it is, like, nothing, if you want something bad enough, there's nothing in the world that can stop you from getting it. Like, and I remember I saw Alex Hormozi say this too. It's like, I can't lose if I don't quit. Like, if I just keep going at trading and I just keep getting better, like, I could go down to 0 and I'll get a job. I'll go get 2 jobs again. I'll find a, you know, a high income skill and I'll just try mastering it and then build up a cushion and restart. Every single time if you have that sort of mentality and if you're listening to this right now and you're like, yo, that's me. Like, I got knocked down so many times. I keep getting up. And, like, the thought of quitting isn't even in your head. And the only thing you can think of in your future is like, yo, I want to be a trader. I don't see myself working another job. If that's you, you will make it as long as you just keep finding what you're doing wrong, fixing those small errors, and just really just tweaking your strategies, tweaking your mental until you get to that point.
Yeah, stay in the game.
Now, moving on from trading a little bit, let's talk about this more into successes of life. So, let's just dive straight to what's the most expensive thing you own?
Probably like cash costs. Like the Richard Mills, like 200,000. Like Richard Mill, like, I mean, it was 200,000.
I remember when I jumped.
Don't you get worse, Tutor? How'd you feel once you put it on your wrist?
Not gonna lie, the Richard Mill felt gangster. Like, yeah. Like,
do you go to the club after that? Or what?
Yeah, fuck yeah. Go to the club, you hire to securities, like, because when you walk around, like, let's say you have like a $500,000 car, like 8 out of 10 people, they don't own it, right? Like you're still financing it, right? You pay like 6-7K a month for a Lambo, but when you get a $200,000 watch, that's like cash on your wrist, right? So that was probably like one of my biggest flexes at a period of my time.
All of a sudden he had his desk, and he'll be at a trade. He's like, no, and he's about to go to bed. He puts the box right next to it.
They give you that retrospect, damn, like all that hard work, and once it's now it's here.
So see, when I get my bank, I got on my wrist.
Yeah, literally, like I would just look at it on my wrist, and probably the watch felt cool because I like watches. You get me? So I'm like a watch guy. But I
have one right now.
The Rolex is like there's like one of like the rarest pieces. It's no, but it's like a chronograph. Bro, I just a car. I mean, not a chronograph. You see how the inside kind of is like chocolate?
Yeah.
And you see the emeralds? Like, you see?
Hell yeah, bro.
So it's like
the baguettes, right?
Yeah, they're all baguettes. I got it from TPT.
I remember when you got it.
Yeah.
Speaking of TPT, you got the hat down here.
Yeah, I got the TPT down there. Yeah.
Coming up next.
Today I'm excited to send it to you.
So like, once you like made those big gains, like have you cooled off from that lifestyle that?
Yeah, so I mean, I constantly, like I said, like I always have like new goals, new things that I want to achieve. So I have some new goals now. Like right now, like the new thing is giving away the Lambo, right? After I give it away a Lambo, I probably want to get like a Ferrari or like a McLaren or like some crazy shit. You get me? So probably, yeah, I'm probably ended up giving it away. Yeah. But the thing is, like you gotta keep pushing that. You gotta keep pushing the bar up. Always pushing.
The one thing I really like that when we met downstairs, like before we started recording, the one thing that I really loved about you when I asked you, like, dude, most people bullshit, like, we were giving a Lambo away, we're getting this car away. Bro, like, you explained it to me in detail. I know you can't really say all the details, but that's one thing that I really admire about people is when you get what you get.
Mm-hmm.
You put it out, you get that 10 times back. And that's what I really admire. It's like, bro, like, it's almost like it's a selfless act at that point. It's like,
you're like the Lambo giveaway is so big, like, literally, legally, logically, ethically, it has to be legit, right? And then and the way how it's gonna be done, it's gonna be the most fairest way. But I'm telling you, I hate those bullshit raffles. Like, buy this ticket, get your email, and we'll just fucking put it on a random website. It spins around. Like, I think that's so unethical. Yeah, and then it gets, and then like they sell it. No, like they get, like, we're gonna do an event in Miami, a live event. You guys can pull up. We're gonna have 1,000, 2,000 people pull up, and I'm literally gonna fucking hand the keys and hand the title to somebody, and they take off. They literally take off in the car.
For the sunset.
Yeah.
Nah, and then he's not bullshit. I saw the label. Yeah.
The end of the rims are crazy.
Yeah. When you revved it, bro, there was some guy in Spanish. He called you a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't have a Lambo.
Cam, is it possible to show AC shirt? Yo, AC, come in the cut real quick. So we were talking about Richard Mills, and we were talking about Lambos. Look at AC over here, bro. Look at his shirt.
So blessed.
Very little positive energy.
We're setting all the positive energy to my brothers here.
Richard Mills has a Lambo. That's real. Richard.
Shout out the boys at Timepiece Trading, all right?
Fire. Oh,
Keep on the road.
No, I just thought it was crazy. You went from, dude, like, you could literally have that. You need to take a picture with her before you give away the Lambo. You got to take a picture with that crew neck called with the Richard Millie cost a Lambo.
right.
And you don't like counting you?
No, bro, it's fucked up. And I've taken a picture with the Lambo, and I haven't. That's fucked up. Yeah,
The first got posted.
yeah. Now that I think about it, it's fucked up.
Yo, when was it where you were like, yo, like, I made it? Like, do you ever feel like you made, like, I'll be honest, like, for me, it's like, I don't feel like I've made it. Even though I, like, you know, I've made a decent amount of money. I'm like, dude, I don't feel like I've made it. How do you feel like you've made it? And do you feel like, when was that moment?
Yeah, no, I don't feel like that yet at all, bro. I feel like there's just so much more to achieve out there. Like, I promise you, bro, like, you know, obviously, like, I'm living my life. You guys are kind of just seeing how I live it. So, like, everything that you guys see is my normal, right? So I don't think anything of it. Like it's just like, I get on a jet from here to fucking New York. Like, that's just my normal. You get me? Lambo, like, that's just my normal. Bro, I literally hop into a Lambo and I don't even know I'm in a Lambo. It's my normal. So I say, like, it literally feels as not as cliche, like I'm just getting started, bro. Like, there's just so much more out there. Like, I only feel like I'm like 2-3% of, like, where the journey goes.
I love that you said that, because Umar Ashraf, we had him on the pod. He was the first episode, and one thing he said, even before that, he was like, when you make your extreme your normal, yeah, imagine what your extreme is like. Now that is your life is someone's extreme.
Yeah.
I want to get.
Yeah.
But once you make it your normal, you're like, oh, you know, I'll have a Lambo, I'll do this, and you know, you're working towards it. Your extreme is now, yo, I want to fucking give away a land.
Yeah.
I want to own a PJ. I want to do this.
Or Martin.
I mean, I say, to answer your question, where I feel like it hit me is, like, my goal at one point was, like, I want to make 10, 20, 30K a month. Bro, my residual expenses now are 20, 30, 40, 50K a month, every single month after month. It's been like that probably for the past year and a half. That's where I realized, I'm like, shit, like, my goal one time was to make this. Just to, like, make this, and this is enough to be happy. And now this is literally just my expenses, my car, my house, just, like, going out and shit. And that's where, I guess, in a way you can say, it's like, fuck, like, made it. But it like, it's not like a satisfaction feeling.
Bro, I feel the same way, because my thing used to be like, I saw this kid on TikTok once make $3,600, and I was like, dude, that's what my dad makes in a month when he was at the gas station. And I was like, bro, if I can make that in a day, I'll trade 1 day a month.
Yeah.
And I'll be so happy. And I remember I made my dad's yearly salary in 1 day, and I was just like I literally went, like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna open up a little bit. I went to my room and I cried, bro. I was like, bro, like, I used to pray for times like this. Bro, like, the big bill, bro. I was like, bro, like, it felt so surreal, because it was almost like, yo, like, what? Where did the time go, bro? I looked back and I was just like, bro, there was a time where $3,600, if I could make that in a month, that was like my making. Yeah. My dad was making. I'm like, bro, that'll double our household income. And for me to make that in a day, I was like, 30,000 is what my dad was making, something like that. And I was like, bro, for me to make that in a day, I was just like, bro, like, that's my dad's. Like, my dad worked 12 hours a day for 6 days, 6 days a week. It's like, bro, that's him over the course of an entire year. Like, I just made that with a click of 2 buttons.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, that for me was like, yo, I'm getting some.
Yeah.
But even to this point, it's like, I haven't made it. My make it is like when I, like, my parents, like, bro, like, I'll be honest, like, dude, it's almost like I made it, but at the point, it's like, bro, I want them to be able to, like, go to India on, like, a fucking nice-ass PJ. I want them to be able to, like, just take my card and travel the world, bro. Because our parents don't have much time left, right? Like, let's be honest. But the one thing that really made me happy, this happened, dude, they wanted new furniture, and I just gave them my card. And dude, they ran up like 15, 20K on just furniture. I was like, yo, what the hell? And then, but when the furniture came in, bro, like my mom was so happy because we had the same furniture since we used to live in the old house. And then we moved into a new house, and then it's like, bro, like that's what it's for, bro. And seeing that sort of like satisfaction and that just like, bro, like for us, like 15, 20K, it's like, dude, we can make that in a trade, we can make that in a weekly, whatever. But for my mom and dad, bro, that was like their yearly salary. It's like for them to spend on furniture, bro, just to see the almost sort of like just like excitement from like, yo, like wow, like we have this now. It's like that's what for me is making, not like a certain number, like $1. And it's sort of like, what's my why? It's like, that's why, you know, I worked as hard as I do. And that's why I think I never quit. Like, there was times, bro, like, I wanted to quit so many times, and you probably feel the same way. There's times where I literally felt like I was at rock bottom and that my life couldn't get worse. And the reason I kept going and tried to be better every day, I kept trying to trade, is just because I had a really good why. And that was to make sure my parents never had to work another day in their life. I think, dude, once you have that sort of why in your life, I don't think you can ever fail at what you do.
Right? Because you're moving with a sense of purpose. You know, a lot of people don't have that, or a lot of people don't understand that. So I think one thing that allowed me to, you know, have success not only in school and also, but also, you know, developing myself as a trader is that sense of why, you know, hanging around the right people, you know, and like I don't really hang out with anyone from high school anymore because I realize, you know, we're maybe not on the same mission or anything like that. So again, it's putting yourself in the right circumstances. And how important is that for you, surrounding yourself with the right people?
I mean, I'd say probably 50% of like the mindset that has shifted over like the last like 2.5 years is because around that. Like, bro, I live next to Neil, right? Like I live 2 doors down from Neil. I get my Lambo. I'm like, this is cool, but I literally look next door and he has Maybach truck, GT3, Cullinan. Like, he has like the full crazy fleet, right? So like the cliche ass saying like, oh, you're the 5th person of your 4 friends. That's 100% fact, right? So ever since I started hanging around with like big players, big bosses like that, my mind shit, like I said, like everything just turns into the new normal.
The conversation is different when you sit with bosses, bro. It's not about like, oh, well, let's go do this. It's completely different.
Yeah. But yeah, 100%. I say shifts 100.
It's like, it's not like, yo, let's go to Target. It's like, yo, let's go to Chrome Marts. Let's go fucking timepiece trading. It's like, bro, what the hell? Like, where did it, like, yeah, it's crazy where the time goes, especially in the journey. And that's why I really wish, and I was told this multiple times when I was like coming up, it's like, yo, enjoy the journey. I'm like, I can't fucking enjoy the journey. I gotta make it, bro. Yeah. And I think, bro, what was your why when you were coming up? Like, when you were just like, dude, you obviously probably wanted to quit so many times, bro.
I mean, for me, like, quitting was like, there wasn't really like a quitting phase, because like I would see Q Banks, I would see these other guys, and I'm like, bro, if this guy could fucking do it, like I could do it. It really hit me that success is for anybody when I met Grant Cardone. So I went to like this like private like 30-person one-on-one event in Grant Cardone. I'm like, fire, I'm gonna meet this guy. I'm gonna see what the fuck this guy has. Like, I'm thinking he has some shit like Superman, like he has some shit in his chest, he's got a chip in the back of his head. I don't know what he has, right? So I pull up and I see him, this guy's shorter than me. So I'm like, wait, what? Yeah, he's shorter than me, bro. He's super short. Yeah, he's super short. So I pull up and I meet him and shake his hand. I talk to him for like 5 minutes and I'm like, it's a fucking normal guy, bro. Like, what the fuck is the difference? And then that's where I realized, I'm like, the only difference between him and I, he's been doing it longer, and then he's just consistent as shit. I kind of went back home after that, and that just changed everything for me. Yeah, that's just really what it comes down to.
It's like, you gotta want it bad. You know, I mean, like, again, same thing. You want your GTA character to fucking, you know, upgrade so bad that you end up spending 12 hours a day on that shit. To spend 12 hours on yourself, you know, like, see the results.
I saw the same thing. Like, dude, I used to, Umar Ashraf, bro, I used to bootleg his courses. Like, I'd literally, like, go into his free Zooms, and I thought he would record my OBS, and I'd have my face cam on, like, watching it, and recording myself watching it, and I was just like, I'd go back. I had a little camcorder. Dude, I showed Umar this, too. I'm like, all right, guys, we're watching Umar's podcast. I'm bootlegging this. It's 2020. And I was like, bro, what the hell? Like, then I remember I came to Miami, and I had dinner with him, and it was lunch, and I was like, holy shit, bro. Like, this guy's real. Like, I used to watch him on this girl. I told him, I'm like, bro, I used to fucking bootleg your course, bro, and watch it. It's crazy that I'm sitting here with you right now. And it's even crazier. I call him a brother now, bro. It's like, dude, everyone I've ever, like, everyone's a normal person, bro. Like, TPT, I always see their Instagram reels. I see them wearing these crazy-ass watches. I go there today, bro. Most down-to-earth people I've ever met. Same thing with Umar. Same thing with you, bro. Like, no matter what, bro, any person I've ever seen with success, bro, they're just regular dudes. It's not like they had some sort of kryptonite. It's not like they're taking, like, fucking any sort of, like, supplement where it's like, yo, they're rocking. It's like, no, bro, it's just...
It's just the mindset. It really just comes down to the mindset.
It's like that's what separates, you know, winners from losers. Is like just how many times he can fall and how many times he can get back up. Like, dude, success is really, like, I love that you said that. Success is really for anyone. Just the people who put the time and are willing to go through the fucking, you know, the pain.
And for all the young people that are listening, you know, it's the people around you is the most important thing. That's what elevated me the most, you know? You're not going to really meet the people that you want to become or that you want to surround yourself with sometimes in person, right? So you got to, you know, link with them, you know, connect with them online. I met Shinobi online, and then we ended up eventually linking, right? And I met all these other people that are absolutely great, you know, and, you know, they help elevate my mindset, and it's a fair exchange of value. And you become, you know, the person you think of yourself to be, right? So if you have negative thought patterns about yourself right now, about, you know, well, I'm not going to be shit, I'm not going to do this, you're eventually going to get there, right? These guys here are because they're a result of their thought patterns 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And now, eventually 5, 10 years down the line, they're going to be the result of their thought pattern that's occurring right now. So just really think about that.
Bro, like, you think if they're having conversations about, yo, my normal is a label, my normal is this, you think you're going to have that conversation with someone from your hometown, bro? Like, you know, people you cut off, bro. And a lot of people I see, bro, they're like, yo, I'm trying to put my friend onto this. I'm like, you're putting on ankle weights, bro. If your friend doesn't already want it, like, you can't take everyone with you, right? Surround you, put yourself in the right rooms. Like, dude, like, I've been in rooms where they're talking about, yo, bro, we need to buy out this entire street. And then we're going to, like, I'm like, bro, how to, like, buy out the entire street? Like, to me, I'm just like, yo, that's insane. But to these people, all of a sudden, they're like, yeah, we're going to buy, I'm like, yo, you mean a house? And they're like, no, we're going to buy the entire street, and then we're going to revamp the entire neighborhood, and then we're going to fucking sell it. And I was like, holy shit.
These are real things that are going down. You just have to be around those people.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, dude, those are real people. Like, people really do that.
When you look around, there's money all around. All these, yeah, right? Yeah. And, like, you got to, like, it's really being in the right rooms, and you gotta become that person, right? You can't just be like, oh, walk, you know, where are these guys at? Like, no, you gotta become that right person. And once your mindset matches with these guys, that's how you live it.
Bro, get in that room somehow. You don't have to be making the most money. Like, bro, like, the way I did it, bro, I used to be a really good graphic designer, and I'd literally ask to join people's Discords, and I'd be like, yo, let me join for free. I'll design all your social media. Bro, I was, like, trading, doing all this shit. Like, dude, I was working so much just to have, like, you know, elevate my circle. And I say this all the time, bro. I got super, super lucky with the people I've met throughout my journey. Like, dude, it's, for me, like, where I came from, bro, it's super lucky. I get to hang out with you. But, bro, like, there's ways you could put yourself in those rooms. Learn a skill that someone needs, bro. Like, dude, Cam, our cameraman, right? Cam, the cameraman. Cam, bro, he's super good videographer. He edits, does all this. He's like, yo, he's getting himself into rooms, like, hearing people discuss, and he's just really good with the camera, and he can edit. And, dude, he's been in the room with Iman Godzi, Umar, you, like, dude, so many insane people. I'm even like, dude, how did you get in? Like, how did you get that person on the pod? He's like, no, dude, I just reached out. It's like, bro, how did you play? It's fucking crazy.
You gotta provide value.
Exactly, bro. You put, like I said, bro, you get what you give, bro. And you can't just go expecting to get into rooms with crazy people like, yo, I'm gonna fucking learn this. What value are you providing them? Like, you obviously provide, so, like, you're hanging out with Neil, you're providing, bro, you give them trading knowledge, you give them financial knowledge, you tell them, like, where they could park their money. Bro, you could give them, everyone's smart, bro. They know what to do, but you give a different perspective. You obviously offer some sort of unique perspective that they value, that they're sitting, you know, you guys are carrying poker tables to each other's houses during the middle of the night.
You're just rolling down the sidewalk. Man. Just fucking. Yeah. What's the pattern?
We are in out. You want to go lower?
It's up to you guys.
We discussed a lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. It's good.
No, but I really want to say I appreciate you for coming.
Bro, thank you guys for having me. Super cool. I appreciate you guys, honestly, for having me out.
I want to shout out Cam. I want to shout out AC for being in the back. I want to, honestly, like, whatever it is, it's just mindset over everything. If you take one thing out of it, if you can leave everyone with one message, what would you leave them with?
Very simple thing that I can leave is the guys that you're seeing up here today, we don't have anybody behind us other than our drive. We're not an overnight success, so we are very similar ups and downs. And the reason we're here today is because we're consistent, persistent, and we learn from our mistakes. And whenever you're in doubt, set and forget. Very simple. See you guys.